when is the right time to talk about sex to teenagers?
You start talking to your child about sexuality education as young, hata akiwa hata months. I know you'll wonder how.
How?
Yeah.
Months?
Yeah.
Do they understand anything?
See, when mtoto wako akiwa mdogo, there are places when you touch them. Kwa mfano, if it's a boy, if you touch their penis, they'll react.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
what we say when it comes to sexuality education, it's basically being age appropriate.
Uh-huh. Hi guys, it's Maggie here with another episode of Dish the Sauce, where we talk about anything and everything about life. I am here with an amazing girl called Ida. So, a brief story. I have been meeting Ida around, but this time I saw her post about sex education for teenagers, and I thought it's like a very, very interesting story. Then I went online and I saw this story. Like, you guys, you'll be shocked. But I loved her post. Like, I loved her post because, like, you know, those things people don't normally talk. She goes there. Let me show you guys the video.
Unafanya nini na condom kwa room yako and you're only 11 years old? Jaden, umetoa wapi condom? Napenda udaku. So, huyo ni mama Jaden. Jirani yangu anagombanisha Jaden. Jaden ako 11 years old. Eti kwa sababu amepata condom kwa room ya Jaden.
Welcome so much, Ida.
Thank you so much, Maggie. It's quite a pleasure to be here.
Aww, welcome.
Asante sana.
Karibu, Mami. And today we are going to be dishing sauces. Like, it's Dish the Sauce, and we are going to be dishing some sauces as we are talking and educating ourselves. Very, very important. So, pick a sauce, we can start.
Let's start with
this is chili. This
These
side is all chilies,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is non-chili.
This side.
Yes.
The sauces or the samosas?
Both.
Okay. So let's start with a non-chili.
Okay.
With a chili sauce.
Oh. Okay, come on, do it.
The samosas look so yummy.
I know. I hope you will love them. So this is Kitchen Vibes. They usually provide us with snacks whenever we are having a shoot. Come on, be nice. Be nice about it. Dip sauce. Do it. Yes.
Let's see.
How is it?
So yummy. Kuna ka taste flani. Just that I'm not a chef, so I don't know how to describe the. But
this is habanero. This is habanero sauce. How do you love it?
Very. It's so sweet. Tamu sana.
You don't feel like it's too much chili?
No. The one that I fear is actually this one. Looks.
Oh, this is supposed to be mild chili, but let's go from there. Let me also try it.
The samosas are sweet. You said that the samosas are from?
Kitchen Vibes.
Oh, nice.
You also get some. Don't worry. Yes. Oh, that was awesome. I think this combo is really nice.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I feel like the chili is not too much.
It's not too much.
Yeah.
That's why when you say this one is a little bit mild. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I might have confused them anyway. I don't know. We'll go from there, then we'll figure out which one is the strongest.
All right.
Anyway, so to start with, I have a story for you. I want us to go through the story, then we can discuss further.
All right.
So let me read the story for you. The title goes, I caught my son, 17 years, and my niece, 15 years, engaged in some activities.
Okay.
Yes. Not so nice activities. So, he writes, I need some advice. I recently caught my son and his cousin being sexual in his room.
You said the son,
The
like the
son
niece,
is 17
17.
years and the niece is 15 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, about 4 years ago, my niece came to live with us
Mhm.
after her mom passed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my husband and I have 3 children: a 17-year-old boy, a 14-year-old girl, and a 5-year-old girl. And we live in a 3-bedroom house. So when my brother lost his wife, we agreed to bring the daughter to come live with us. We moved my 17-year-old boy's bedroom to a room outside the main house and got our 14-year-old daughter and my 15-year-old niece to one room. Then my 5-year-old daughter and our nanny to the next room, while we were left with the masters, like now her and the husband. Okay. Ever she Ever since she moved to live with us, my son and her were very close. So we looked at it as my son helping her deal
A
with
cousin
the grief.
relationship.
I know, cousin helping a cousin out, like,
Okay.
Okay. My husband and I work, so we usually get back into the house in the evening, past 7. But yesterday, I was not feeling very well, so I decided to get home early. I was back in the house by around 4-ish. When I got back to the house, I found my 5-year-old daughter and my 14-year-old daughter watching some TV.
Okay.
I asked them where the cousin was, and my 5-year-old said she must be at the brother's room.
Okay.
I didn't think much of it, so I went to my room. At my room's window, you can see my son's room, and I noticed that the door to my son's room was closed. So when I noticed the door was closed, I decided to go and check because we have a rule in the house to leave the door open when there is a girl in his room. I went to the door and heard noises. So I entered the room. Oh my God. I don't think I
You don't want to continue reading?
No,
Okay.
Let's hope they're scary noises they were watching. Maybe
some horror movie.
Yes, some horror movie. Yes, let's imagine it's that. So I entered the room and I was stunned by what I saw. They were in bed together with clothes on the floor. They immediately stopped when they saw me. I couldn't speak. How do you speak after that?
I think you get like a mom. You can't. There's nothing you can first of all say as a parent because it's quite shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine, you're like, go to Apple, like, doo-doo. Then you're hearing noises. I'm assuming they're dog noises. Horror noises. Then you open.
Okay, so the mom did not say what the noises were.
No,
all right.
She didn't say. She just said I heard noises.
Okay.
Yeah. So where were we? Couldn't speak. I couldn't speak. I don't know for how long. But when I got to it, I just told them to get dressed and get out of the room. I talked to them and asked how long it has been going on, and they said it was the first time.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe it. My nanny says they have been spending a lot of time together. I'm so angry and can't get that image off my head. I want to yell at them and send my son away, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Please, anyone else been through this or have any advice?
Unasemanga where? Like, that's quite it's shocking. let me say.
So imagine if this was you, how would you have handled it?
For starters, I think bila kuangalia like whatever had happened, the mom reacted well, because if you look at African parents,
I can imagine. Guy,
zile viboko ungepata.
Mimi, I'm just imagining it's my mom over there. Like, guy! Guy! Ungekuja funeral. After that, I tell you.
Sinarole watu wawili ama yako peke yako.
Okay, na hisi watu wawili wote tungeenda like, mnafanya nini? What are you doing?
Yeah. But I think she handled it well, like calmly, and staying calm in such situations is the first thing that a parent can always do. As much as it's inashtua, it's very shocking, especially looking at the age brackets of these two kids.
Yeah, they are
because
very young,
they are ni watoto. Other than the son being 17, she's almost getting into are they young youths or she's almost getting 18. But again, it's too inashtua. Hata mimi nashindwa nitasema nini. Maybe once imesink.
Na hiyo kitu inaweza kusink kweli kwa kichwa. Like, is there a way to process that?
You see the way the mom is saying, like, she can't even get the images of her head. So you can imagine. Even because once she's still the kid's mom. So you can imagine, she'll always have that in mind. Me forget, but what? Forgive, but don't forget.
Unasema tu unaachia Mungu.
Yeah, because unaona kama ingekuwa kama walisema ni first time, I don't know about whether the noises the mom was hearing, I don't know, but kama walisema ni the first time, and I'm also not sure kama walikuwa washafanya.
No, amewapata in the act. Yeah, amewapata in the act. In bed,
how do you even talk to them?
Yes.
Oh, that is normal. And well, sawa, wacha tuendelee tutarudi.
This is very sad. Anyway, so my question to you, I know you talk about sex education a lot, and you're helping a lot of parents out here. So when is the right time to talk about sex to teenagers?
Okay, that's a very good question, because for example, with that same scenario, if the parent or the mom, I'm not so sure if we are not blaming her, but kama angekuwa ameongelesha watoto wake about these things, ama the two, maybe the case would have been different. But just to answer your question, you start talking to your child about sexuality education as young, hata akiwa hata months. I know you'll wonder how.
How?
Yeah.
Months?
Do
they understand anything?
See, when mtoto wako akiwa mdogo, there are places when you touch them. Kwa mfano, if it's a boy, if you touch their penis, they'll react.
Oh.
Yeah. So what we say when it comes to sexuality education, it's basically being age appropriate. Kuna time yenye unafika hata saa zile ameanza kugrow kidogo, you see them now hiding, saying susu and what. That is still sexuality education or sex education, but you're basically just being age appropriate.
Okay.
Kama huyu mtoto wa 17 na 15 hao wenye walipatikana vile, sasa mzazi wao ataongelesha, sio vile ataongelesha huyu wa either 1 year ama what. I'm sure you know, I don't know, najua wewe ni millennial kama but still kwa tunafundishwa ile wimbo ya these are my private parts.
I did not learn that.
My goodness. They remember us being taught these are my private parts.
Okay.
Nobody should touch them, no one should see them. I'm the early millennials. Unakumbuka ukifunzwa kamera lady? Unaona sasa wewe chunga tusikuweke kwa generation nyingine. Yeah, so basically that unaona mtoto akifundishwa these are my private parts, these are my private parts, they know. Kwanza hapo unawafundisha hii ni private parts. Aya waki grown out unaanza kuambia hii private part ni nini. You get. So it's basically just being age appropriate. In stages and being age appropriate. You don't want to start using words kubwa kubwa hapo and they don't understand. Again, when you see now, for starters, you told them these are my private parts. When they grow and start understanding, now tell them this is your breast, this is your butt, this is your, now give those private parts majina. Yeah. And you see ushawaambia nobody should touch them, nobody should blah 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 blah. Now the 15-year-old girl kama angekuwa ameambiwa this is my private part and no one should touch, and the boy pia ameambiwa, because when you're saying this is my private part, no one should touch it, you're also teaching your child as much as mtu afai kushika yako na wewe usishike ya wengine. So unaona kama hawa watu wawili wangekuwa wamefundishwa ama kama the boy hangekuwa amefunzwa, if the girl kama angekuwa amefunzwa angeweza kusema no, I was told no one should touch my private parts until blah blah blah. Yeah. So as young as possible, to answer your question.
Okay. Now, is there like is the talk usually like the same for boys and girls, or it's supposed to be different for girls and different for boys?
I think considering gender, it's different. Let me say it's different because there are changes that girls will get when maybe wameanza pale adolescent nini na kuna changes pia za boys. But now what we say, do not neglect, usineglect boy child. Usineglect. Me I remember in primary school tukifunzwa mambo, for example ya period ya pad, boys walikuwa wanaambiwa watoke nje. I'm quite sure that it's different right now because again you're growing up this kaboy ama ukijana ukimficha nani ataoa huyu msichana. You see, so right now I think inafaa ikuwe wanaitwaje, like wanafunzwa pamoja. Right? Wanafunzwa pamoja, but kuna zile kijana atafunzwa akiwa peke yake na kuna zile msichana atafunzwa akiwa pia peke yake. Depending with what, because again for the boy bado utamfunza so that pia wajue pads na wajue period. I remember watching some series na kadem kameanza period for the first time. Then the boy anapiga nduru ameenda kuita babake like I don't what ameona damu.
What the fuck? So nafikiria like maybe
amekatwa ama sijui what. You see the innocent ignorance.
Wow. Anyway, but now here we are assuming like maybe these kids are not active. But what if the kids are active? What kind of education are you supposed to give them? Is it now that we are starting to talk about contraceptives, or like how would that talk go about?
So you're saying active in terms of them be engaging themselves in them. Okay, so what we say, haufundishi mtoto wako sex ed ama sexuality education kumotivate afanye. Hapana. What you're doing them, you're just helping them make informed choices when the right time comes. Okay? Because I've seen as hata kama mimi content creator, I'm also a journalist, and I've done stories of a 17-year-old girl mwenye ako pregnant. You understand? 17 there's a story nilikuwa nasoma hata kuna hadi 9 years. I don't know. You see easy story 9.
How
9 now ndo it's my first time. It's my first time. Maybe they were told if it's your first time you won't get pregnant. If we are doing it while standing, or you won't do
What do you mean while standing?
See, there are those myths. There are those myths where kids are told, you see, for example, it's an adult. Akuja akwambie we ulishafunzwa ukakatazwa, lakini akwambia we kama mama alikwambia ukisimama iezi. You see, so you need to tell them whether you're standing, whether uko kwa maji, whether uko wapi, ukifanya utapata mtoto.
I am really trying to understand this logic. Does it mean that instead of going upwards, gravity inashinda
hivyo? So unaona, alafu unaona ni mentality ya mtoto. So ukimdanganya hivyo atajua atafanya nini, ataona si mama alisema ukifanya utapata ball, lakini wewe anasema tukifanya kama
Hapana.
tumesimama ama tumefanya nini haita nini. So again you need to tell them that whatever position, whatever place, as long as there's penetration, there's pregnancy, and there kuna magonjwa.
Speaking of that, I remember my mom back in the day, like my sex education wasn't really much, like millennials wengi we really didn't get it like that.
Me too.
But statement tu moja yenye aliniambia, asikudanganye eti naingiza tu kichwa hivi kichwa hivyo ndo umeenda. Usijaribu.
Wewe afadhali uliambiwa kichwa, mimi hata hakukuwa na hiyo time.
Mimi niliambiwa kichwa.
Mimi for us there was nothing. I think labda ile ya usisimame na mvulana, hata mkisimama na yeye hivi utapata mimba.
Oh my God.
Yani even just standing na kuombana pen.
Oh my God. Speaking of that, wacha tukuje tu kwa trauma ya millennials. With millennials, we have really suffered when it comes to that.
A lot. Like you can't, by the way, you can't compare millennials. For me, I'm an early millennial, a junior millennial. So you can't compare us with akina Gen Zs. You can't compare. Alafu pia kuna technology. I'm not saying Gen Zs muende kwa technology mkiangalia hizo maneno. No. Yeah, alafu unaona pia kuna technology, kuna nini, lakini sisi nika tukua tunalelewa kama kwa bush. Walikuwa waitwaje wale wa South Africa? Hoi and Sun. Mesopotamia time.
By the way, speaking of that, kwanza before we continue with this story, we need to dish the sauce.
Yeah, niko nashangaa kwani mbona tumekaa hivi sana.
Story which one do you want to do next?
This one that I was yenye nilikuwa na ugo.
So, okay.
You told me deep.
I think I'm dipping. Is this not dipping?
Me, I won't go there.
Okay.
It's that. Yeah, okay. Me, I won't dip, so.
Well, it has a kick, but it's nice. Try it.
Hey,
it's not curly.
But that's hot.
Yes. But it's hitting the right places.
No, I'm okay. And I said it looked hot.
Yeah. I think then maybe this is the habanero. And this was the mild.
I love this one.
Yeah. It's habanero. I need to be getting hotter sauces than that. Yes, when you come back next time, we'll have hotter sauces. Wow, what do you think of this episode, guys? Please let us know in the comment section below, and please watch out for part 2 of this episode, where we'll be talking and reacting to some of millennial sex education stories. Like, those stories are juicy like you won't believe. So until next time, guys, bye.